Welcome back to the Oh Here We Go podcast, guys.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Lacey. And we're still in LA.
We're still in LA. I think we're at a certain point just going to always be here to the point. Or are we going to go back and forth with Denver? Do you think?
Whatever we can literally afford.
I like that answer, man.
Yeah.
It's like weird. Yeah, I liked that.
But also, like, we're living in abundance. So, like, just, it's okay.
Yeah, we're just going to bounce around.
You know.
So, but we in LA this week. You know. But yeah.
And today we're having another one of my LA friends on. And he's Tristan Tales on all social media platforms if you want to find him. But Tristan and I actually dated back in 2016, 2017, and it was right before I went through the most transformative year of my life, and that was 2017. We broke up literally right before I just dove in. I tripped for the first time. Like, it's not a secret. Like,
you're welcome.
Maybe it's not now, but like that
it's
really
not a secret.
It just like changed so much. I'm not like blaming or like putting psychedelics on like a platform. I'm kind of, but like I did a lot of work myself, and psychedelics were definitely a tool that helped.
It pushed you.
Yeah.
It gave you that like, oh, what about this direction?
Yeah. So I really wanted to have Tristan come on today because I mean, we talked about a little bit about our breakup and like dating each other. We didn't really like talk about why we broke up, but Tristan is somebody that in my life, I'm so proud of that relationship. And I told him this in the interview, so you're going to hear it again, but we broke up and it was in such like a respectful way. Like it needed to happen because we both really, we just needed to grow.
Well, since we didn't talk about it in the interview, why did y'all break up?
We were just in different places in our lives, and he was really diving into his career, and he was in this whirlpool situation, which you'll hear that analogy in the episode, but he was like really struggling, and he didn't want to bring me into that, and I didn't want to be in that, and I know that I deserve to be treated better. It just is what it is. And like, there is no animosity. I mean, it was a tough breakup, but it needed to happen. And we both have transformed so much since then. So observing not only my growth, but his growth over the past couple of years has been so fun and enjoying and fulfilling to watch, because I'm so proud of Tristan's career and his personal internal growth. And it just makes me so happy. Yeah. So like watching that over the years, it makes me so happy because I'm like, fuck yeah. Like I'm just one of his little cheerleaders, and it's not like I don't have like the, oh my God, my ex, like I want him back. Like it's not one of those, and he doesn't feel that way about me. It's just good. It's a friend, you know, and that's rare to have with an ex, you know, and like emotions and like anger can be involved or like whatever. I love how pure it is. It's like, it's such a good supportive friendship. And I'm just like, that's how it should be. It is to me a little bit therapeutic to be friends with an ex, like when the dust is settled, when the timing is right. And maybe that might not ever happen for certain people, but for me, I have found it a little bit therapeutic because I don't like having animosity. And it's so cool, like years later, like running into this person or meeting up with them and not really like expecting or wanting anything up from them other than to just check in and see how they're doing. I love that, because these people, exes, like people that you've dated, play such an important role in your life, you know, like these people know you the best at one point in your life. They do, and they grow with you. It's a chapter of your life. Like people you date, it's a chapter, and it's cool to like years later, whenever the day may come, to catch up and just kind of see how much each of you have changed and just like applaud that. Like, fuck yeah, I'm proud of where you are.
Yeah.
Like almost like a handshake. Like,
it's weird to look at somebody months or years later after a breakup and be like, I've experienced you. You know, like I've experienced that, like you, like it's crazy. And also, for those of you that don't know, Tristan is a professional storyteller, like I like to say. But it's interesting. It was interesting to be a part of your life during that relationship, because I was so just didn't know how to didn't know what was going to happen, basically, because it was crazy to see two people very loving and supportive of each other, but also just like it was during this time of social media that everybody was losing themselves, and especially like you were, he was, everybody in that world was, and I was just outside looking in was just like, what is happening? Yeah. And you would tell me the problems, and I was just like, it was bizarre. It
was hard, especially like the environment and the career path. It was hard to be with and for and supporting somebody else. Like, it was hard to do life with somebody else when like there was so much turmoil and like shit going on in your own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those analogies where you have to like put your own gas mask on before you put on a child's.
Yeah.
Like kind of. Yeah. Like we both had to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it was intense, and it's good to see that you guys are out of that and you're good friends.
I'm proud of that, man.
Yeah, that was, I mean, because it can always just get so bad with exes. I feel like my ex to friend ratio is about 50-50. Yeah. Like it just depends on the person, because I could look at exes, I want to be friends with exes all day, but they did not want that. And so like one time I was walking into a restaurant and with a current boyfriend, and then my ex of like 4 or 5 years ago was eating there, and I went inside to eat, and then we were leaving.
That just like hit me in the gut for some reason.
And as we were leaving, I hadn't seen her talk to this person or whatever in 4 or 5 years, and he gets out of his seat, goes into the parking lot as I'm like so far away, and yells at me,
"Wow,
bye girl," or something. And I was just like, with my current boyfriend, I was like
angry.
Ew. I mean, he's like this. That's just, it makes sense. And so I'm just like, well, you can't be friends with those types of people. But I have a good, like, I like the exes that I'm friends with. Like, sometimes I have to be friends with them, like, low-key and stuff. But,
yeah.
I love when you can be friends with exes.
And some, if you're dating or in a relationship with someone,
you have to be respectful.
You have to be respectful for sure. But it's a hard thing to kind of, like, always explain, like being friends with an ex.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like,
yeah, because it's tricky, because a lot of times you could get back with an ex. Like, it's just, there's so many, like, variables with that. And I would totally understand. I totally understand all the sides of that. But yeah. You know.
It's just so situational. Yeah. And Tristan is just
and
a wild card.
I met Tristan because me and Lacey were asked to go, or you were asked to go to Fire Fest.
Oh my God.
And I was brought on, they like paid for our, because I was going to do photography.
Fire Fest was literally insane. I'm in the Netflix documentary of that. They took a clip from one of my YouTube videos explaining what happened. But basically, because I posted a fucking orange square, I got 3 VIP, all exclusive paid passes, like flights, bungalow, everything. And I was like, I know like I'm an influencer, but I'm like, nobody gives a fuck about me. Like, I'm not like relevant. Like, I'm there. Like, I'm like, why are they doing this?
I know. And then they like paid for my flight and everything. Yeah. And I was just like, wow, is this happening? And then we were all going together. We were in Miami. Our plane was about to take off. And then they stopped the plane, and the pilot came through, and he was like, we're not allowed to take off. The Bahamas government has halted all flights coming into the country, and
because of
Fire Festival. And so I was stranded in Miami, which is great.
Yeah,
with
totally fine.
Tristan and Lacey, and we had so much fun. And he was just someone that, like, never having met, I was like, I'm probably not gonna really bond with this person that well. But I love him, and
he's always so fun to be around.
And so I'm so glad that he came on today.
Yeah. I remember in Miami taking like a Snapchat video of both of you, and I said something like, the 2 most influential people in my life.
Oh, cute. Oh, I want that.
I know, so cute.
Yeah, dang. Yeah. But anyways.
Well, that's just a little bit about exes.
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of, do you want to kind of talk about how you were in a relationship where you weren't even allowed to talk about your exes?
Whew. Yeah, that was like, because I get that it's a hard thing to really trust, but it's so situational. And if you can like read me and my intentions, and especially like see Tristan and I together, like, I don't know, it's just like, or it's just so dependent. But one of my past relationships, talking about any guy or being friends with any male that was like a threat, or like it was always met with like very harsh tension. Like I didn't feel, I don't like using the word safe, but like I didn't feel like it was a safe space to talk about people that I've dated like for a year, or went on one date with, or
when you would tell me that, I was just like, well, you're not allowed to talk about your experiences.
Yeah, I didn't have the space to comfortably and freely and vulnerably talk about any male in my life without being met with like tensions or questions or being like untrusted. And that was like, I felt that energy from the beginning, and it was like one of those like flags that I ignored because I was like, oh, like whatever. But that is something that like didn't really make me feel like free or trusted. And I learned from experiences and reactions to just not talk about exes, and it created this weird space, and like it became like an unhonest like hiding situation. I didn't like it. I did not like it. And I mean, it's not to blame him. I mean, I could definitely like step up and like talk. I mean, I have the willpower, like I have the power to talk. Yeah, it was just it was just not good tension. And like there was a situation where Tristan posted a TikTok of both of us when we were on a beach somewhere, and there was like this airplane flying directly over us in the water. It was like low as fuck to the ground because the airport was right there. And I was like sitting on the couch. I was like, oh my God, Tristan posted a video of us. Just like,
it was an old one.
It was an old one, like from back in the day. And I had no idea who was going to post that. Hadn't talked to him, like whatever. It's not like Tristan and I, we like literally never talk, y'all, like ever. Like maybe like once in 5 months we'll call, like that's it.
Yeah.
But he posted out, and I was like, knowing Tristan and his like social media mind, I knew that he was doing this for TikTok views because it's a tight fucking video. And I was like, Tristan's doing this for views. Yeah. Like that's what it was.
Yeah.
And the person I was dating got really upset at that. Like, and could not understand.
I just couldn't.
Why would he do that? He's insinuating that he wants to be with you and be back with you. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like,
I just do so much better when I have freedom, and because like,
yeah, like when you're not trusted, it feels like jail.
Yeah, and I freak out when I like have like when I'm being like confined to something. I'm like,
oh my God, when we were in therapy, this is what I would do. I feel like this. Like, and so now I feel free.
Yeah. And surprisingly, like my ex was so chill about that stuff. It was great because that's just kind of like what I work well with. Like he was so chill that not only could I talk about my past experiences with exes, but we would hang out with an ex that was super influential in my life, and that ex went with us to shows and everything, and I just was like, this works so well for me because I'm gonna just argue with you.
I mean, it creates a healthy environment.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you what? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't invite him if there was gonna be a thing.
I couldn't like wrap my head around the fact that he didn't understand like why I would bring situations up or talk about experiences with people that I've dated. And I was like, I'm just talking freely because I'm comfortable around you. And now I've kind of like subconsciously learned to not do this ever again. And it made me feel secretive.
And I want you to,
I don't like
whenever
that.
you get in another relationship, to please talk about your past and freely talk about experiences, so you don't feel that your past didn't like that.
Yeah,
you don't have
I'm just like, I'm just talking about my life, and I have a cool fucking life.
Yeah,
like, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, and you should. The right person will let you do that. It's how, and I had to keep reminding you that. I was like, the right person would not give a shit that you're talking about an ex experience.
Yeah, because it happened in my life, and it made me become, and all of
it's
my
not
experiences.
Like he was your first boyfriend.
Yeah, like all of my experiences have formed me.
Yeah.
And like I should have the freedom to talk about my experiences.
I used to want my ex to tell me about all of his like, because he would have like wild sexual stories or just like dating experiences or just like advice, like things that he had went through that I found so fascinating that made him who he was, because I loved that. And so I was always just like,
Yeah.
Like at all his stories, and you would even be there whenever he would talk about him. I was just like, I love when he talks about it because it has nothing to do with him, like the now.
It's just like being in a secure spot with yourself and not projecting your insecurities onto somebody.
Yeah,
like that's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I think we should hop into the episode because it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. But okay, guys, we're about to show you Tristan.
Cue the funk music
again. Bye.
Well, welcome back to the Oh Here We Go podcast.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Lacey. And today we have Tristan Tales on. So I wanted to have Tristan on because I guess I can explain we can get into that, but we have a history. I've known Tristan for about 6 years, I guess. And we did date when I was like 20 or maybe 19.
Yeah.
I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 19. Yeah, 19 to 20. Mm-hmm. So Tristan is actually one of my ex-boyfriends. And he is one of the only exes that I have. I mean, I'm friends with my exes, but I value our friendship so much because it's just like there's no animosity. And I feel like when we finally met up for the first time and just like hung out, like after a breakup, I don't even know when that was. It was just so cool to catch up with you and see how much we've both grown and just like cheer each other on. And that's how it's always been. Every time we talk or connect or text or FaceTime, just like randomly, it's always just pure support and encouragement. It's no like tension, no sexual tension. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it could if the environment was right, but like, you know what I mean?
Oh. Well, for the most part. We try to keep it in the pants.
Not expecting
we try to keep it PG-13.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess there could be.
There could be, but like there hasn't been.
But we have no expectations, and we also, I think you nailed it on the head. We're really supportive of each other, and we have been since we've met.
Yeah. That's one thing I think when we first started talking, when we first started dating, it was just like we understood each other, even though like I think one thing that is so cool and unique and why I value this friendship so much is because for me personally, when I started dating you, it was right before I like really took self-growth and made it a priority in my life. Like I just look back on that time of my life and I'm so different, which it's fine. Like, you know, I was young. But I feel like after we broke up, especially, and you played a huge role in my growth trajectory. Like you really did, because you're like a couple years older than me. And I just remember you like asking me questions and almost like you were just like a teacher in my life. And it really had an influence on making me who I am today. So I really value you.
Yeah, I think that is what I value most about a relationship is we've always, and I think with any relationship that you're in, you should look for people that help make you grow and want you to become a better person, that aren't holding you back or not supporting the person that you want to become. If they want to keep the worst thing someone can do in a relationship is be like, this is who you are, and like you need to stay that way because that's the person I fell in love with or I like. It's like, we've always been like, this is the person I think you could become.
I see your potential.
And I see your potential, but it's also like we like who we are now and keep those qualities, but like you keep on expanding, keep on growing, keep on like working on yourself, and I think that's a never-ending journey. So you want to be with somebody who that those like relationship goals and life goals are aligned with. I was literally just telling Stephanie, I was sitting in acting class like last week, and I had like this little epiphany, and I was like, oh my God, like Stephanie and I, we've also been friends for like 6 or 7 years. We have grown together and we've both changed so much, but it's been in the same direction. And that's so rare because a lot of the times you outgrow people and you don't grow in the same direction and you have differences in values and priorities. And that's okay, of course.
And that's okay, but I'm just like, damn, we're relationship goals.
You guys are endgame.
I remember when we started posting pictures again from like photo shoots, I think you commented out of nowhere and you were like, oh, y'all are back or something like that. You like did something. I was like, oh, there he is.
Dude, when Tristan comments on my stuff, I know it's good.
Are you like a comment stingy kind of person or something?
I don't know. I don't honestly check social media that much, which is surprising considering
Proud of you.
It's my job.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But how did we all meet? Obviously, you and I met when we were
Walking around the Grove.
Is that how we met?
What?
I mean, it was.
Yes, it was.
I thought okay.
Wait, was it not?
I mean,
We didn't
I
hang
thought it was
out-
at the Team 10 Jake Paul house, or is that when I saw you again? I think that was the first time I met you. And I just remember being in this environment with all these other content creators, and that is really not an environment I thrive in because I really gravitate towards like meaningful, deeper conversations. And like in those environments, it's all about like content, which is fine. But at that time in my life, that's not, my headspace wasn't aligned with everybody's in that environment, you know, like.
It's kind of like that was like their job, like their place of work. So like when you were there, it was like, that's what they were focused on because that's their careers.
And at that time in my life,
Yeah.
I just wasn't there. Like I didn't really understand it because I was like longing for friendship so bad. And so now I like totally get it now. I'm like, damn, hell yeah. Like they know what's up. They knew how to work. And at that time I didn't. But that's where we met, and I just remember you were the only person that like gave a fuck about me, and you were just talking to me, like literally just being nice, like that's it. And I was like, damn,
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes to score a beautiful model and great person like Lacey Claire, guys. That's all it takes.
just be fucking nice. Maybe like throwing a little humor in there. So that's how we met.
I remember we got like when I first started to fall for you was when we were walking around the Grove. Do you remember when we like the conversations we were having at the Grove, and everybody else was kind of surface leveling it and just like doing their thing and whatever. I don't even know what everyone else was doing because I was like so like focused on our conversations.
Cute.
But yeah, I was like, God, I wonder if she'll text me back if I like text her later.
Had you tripped at this point?
No. So when Tristan and I broke up, I was sad, and I went home to Arkansas for the summer. We broke up around the summertime.
Enter me.
And enter Stephanie Parsley, and she was like, hey, I think you're ready. And that's when I remember coming back to LA that summer, and you and I got lunch, and I was like such a fucking like high on life.
Different person.
I hugged a tree around you. Like I was on one.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yep. I think I met you at Firefest, or the devastation.
The devastation of Firefest.
Being stranded in Miami with you. Yeah.
Yeah. We bonded fast.
Yeah, we had to.
Nothing says adversity like
Being stranded from whatever that was.
Yeah, right. It was first world
And I
problem,
was just
whatever.
telling her, I think about this often, and I need to do this. I never paid you for that hotel.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even
I
worry
think
about
about it all the time. Like, I never paid him for that hotel. Like, I don't know. And I'm just like not ever in contact with you to ever send you money. So
Well, please don't worry. I literally have not. I didn't even think about that.
you did it, but it bothers me because I like always pay. So I just like had to
You
tell
paid me
you.
with good company and great conversation. 'Cause we had really good. I mean,
We had a
they're probably
great
not even
time.
that interested. I don't know if your audience is interested in this stuff, but we had great conversations on the beach. Remember when we were chilling?
I saw your aura. Do you remember
you
that?
saw my aura. You're
Yeah.
like, it's what it
Blue.
Blue. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah. You were purple.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
that's the only time I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
It was you and
I
him.
want to see auras.
It was
But
weird.
my aura's been purple for years now. So, I mean, I'm just like, do they change?
It
Or
was
is that like who
weird.
you
I'd
are?
never seen that before. Have you ever had anyone tell you blue?
No, but I think you should do a whole podcast on like how to read auras or like what the colors
I don't
mean.
Oh, okay. Someone else
should-
doing it
we
because
should
I don't know
find-
how to do that.
Yeah. Well, at least like what the colors mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then people might be able to just like define what they think their color is or something.
I've been
Yeah.
told mine's orange.
I would have guessed that.
Okay, cute.
Yeah, orange is such a bright and warm color.
Yeah, I love that for me.
I don't know if I would have guessed that, but like I see it now that you said that. I don't know if I actually would have guessed it.
Okay, that's
But, like,
fine.
You're just sunny.
Yeah,
You're very
okay.
sunny. And
That's
Lacey's
what
like
I'm
this
like.
whimsical purple.
Little
She's
fairy.
a fairy. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
Oh,
pixie.
cute. Okay.
Okay, so
Anyways.
everybody's lost. That's right now. All they know you as is my ex-boyfriend. So you're way more than that.
That just defines me.
So I want to talk about kind of the journey of your career and where you're planning to go. So kind of explain to us like what your first breakthrough was, or like how'd you get started in what your career is now? So just like tell us all things you.
Yeah. So, okay. Social media, of course. I started with, thanks. I'm not wearing the headphones, guys. So like I keep bobbing my head around the mic. I just like get really self-conscious when I hear my own voice.
Oh my God.
This makes like, I have hundreds of, maybe thousands of videos on the internet, and I still get self-conscious of my own voice.
Well, your voice sounds great. You're doing
It's
well.
cute.
Thank you.
Great? Yes. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
Anyways. Okay, so where did I start? Oh, okay, so I started on Snapchat, which is a platform that I think most people don't think about when you think about getting
Social media.
Social media or being a content creator. But I remember I always wanted to be a storyteller, and when the Snapchat story feature came out, I found it as like a fun way to kind of string together little short vignettes throughout your day. But everyone else was doing it, and they were like doing concert snaps or like pictures of their food. And if I wanted to see what you ate for breakfast, I like would join you for breakfast. I don't need to see a picture of it on Snapchat stories. But no one was really like actually making stories with it. And I just for fun was like, I'm gonna make like a different little mini story, like kind of like a short film or like even like a vlog kind of before vlogs were a thing. I would make these short stories to like practice my storytelling skills, and each one had like a beginning, middle, and end. There was like, inciting incident and obstacles to overcome. And I just started doing it for fun, and then I started making them interactive. And I would doodle. I used to like draw on my.
Your drawings were insane.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like they were so artistic. Maybe like we can just like show them.
Yeah, we'll show them on the YouTube version.
Well, thank you. I used to like doodle with my finger on the screen.
So you used your finger?
Yeah, I used my finger because like using those little pens, it was like off for whatever reason by a little bit. It was really fun, and I just tried to innovate with really experiment with storytelling on Snapchat, and some of my stories early on went viral. Huffington Post wrote about it, like Bro Bible.
How did they go viral? Because I feel like it's so hard to find people.
So someone screen recorded it, or I think that's how you would save them back. I think that's still how you save them, and they put it on Facebook, and it went viral on Facebook. So,
oh wow!
And then I got an email from Huffington Post, and they're like,
"Wow,
we saw this video," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And it had like hundreds of thousands of views the next morning, and
wow!
And
how long ago was this?
God, Lacey, this was probably like
a year before us, or maybe like you were in the midst of it.
Yeah, I was like I was just getting started.
Yeah, you were still doing the Snapchat stories when we were dating and like before we were dating.
Yeah,
I remember seeing them.
I think that was like, so it was like a year before I had met you.
Yeah.
And so about like I'd say like 6 years ago, right? 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then I just kept on pushing the limits, and it's funny because everyone like they all look for like that one moment that really like launched your career. And as cliche as this is about to sound, like my one moment was like a year of posting a story that was like beginning, middle, and end every single day. Like I didn't, and this was like before, this was during the Snapchat days where you couldn't upload. You had to like actually do it
how'd
in
you
real
do
time.
That?
I'd like make things on airplane mode and then like take it off airplane mode and like post them all at the same time. I had interactive stories, but they were crazy. I mean, if you remember my stories, Lacey, and like Stephanie, like
they were wild.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
hours of work
this morning and this. It was like tap on the screen to like break through the spider web to climb through the cave. Like it was like crazy Indiana Jones. Like
how many hours would that take you?
All day. It was like I'd wake up and then I'd finish my day at like maybe 11 or 12, and I'd like finish my artwork, and then the story would go up, and then I'd do the whole thing the next day.
Was it kind of therapeutic, or was it stressful?
It was stressful because like you're working with an app that had limitations.
Like so kind of like working against like what you were wanting to do. Is it more easier now?
Well, no, and it's I actually find limitations really helpful. I think they inspire creativity.
Okay.
So like when you're put into a box, it's like, what are you going to do with that box?
Yeah.
You want to cut a hole, make some windows.
that.
You want to like put a ladder in and see what's over the edge. Like you can do so much within a box. But if you're like, here's this vast emptiness of space, I don't even know where to begin. Okay. Like maybe I'll create a start. But like,
wow.
But if you look at like, if you're like, here is the parameters,
the tools that I'm given,
the limitations. It's like, how can I create or innovate within those confines? And I looked at Snapchat as an opportunity to do that. So I was like, using all their tools at the time, like their art tools to do cool things. Then I was like, okay, well, if my audience is watching this in real time, how can I engage with them in real time? And so then I created these choose your own adventure stories where, like, in real time, they would direct the direction my story would go. So they'd be like, do I take the canoe out into the storm, or do I take the car and go around the lake, even though it'll take twice as long? And, like, in real time, they would be telling me what to do.
Wow.
So I had to come up with, I mean, it was very improvised, and, like, I didn't know where the direction it would go, but I had an idea, like a loose idea as to, like, all the directions and possible endings that it could lead. It never really panned out. I mean, my audience tried to get me killed multiple times, but it was fun, and it was like, it was innovating, and I think that's what, like, it was just like, it was storytelling in a way that challenged me, and I think that's what kept me doing it day in and day out. Was like every day felt like a challenge, and then when it stopped feeling like a challenge, or like you kind of evolve and your storytelling grows from that, I started finding other platforms, and that's when I started doing Instagram, and I was making Instagram stories, and then I started doing Instagram sketches, and then there was a demand to make vlogs, so I started vlogging.
Yeah, those were cool.
Yeah, and even with my vlogs, I tried to, like, have like practice storytelling with it.
Yeah, and at the end you would have like a choose your own adventure. So, you know, at the end of a YouTube video, the 2 recommended videos pop up. You could choose option A or option B, and it goes down this whole different rabbit hole depending on which option you chose.
Yeah, so
that's so cool.
Have you ever seen them, Stephanie?
I've seen a couple, but it's been so long, like, that I've kind of forgot, and I definitely remember the Snapchat ones though.
Yeah,
but do you still do Snapchat as much, or?
Yeah, I mean, just for fun.
Okay.
I would say right now my primary focus, I'm like, my goal has always been to be a storyteller, and I want to do that in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like, doing something on social media isn't big. I mean, you have such amazing reach.
Yeah, but there's bigger. Yeah.
Like, I want to challenge myself to do longer form content, and so I've kind of, like, my social media has taken a back seat over the past year, 2 years, where I've been trying to write TV shows and movies, and I'm trying to just better myself as a storyteller. So then, when an opportunity does arise, and I can go out and, like, maybe pitch a show or make a movie, I'm actually ready to do so, and I have the skill set to be able to do it. Because social media for me is an end game. It's not. I don't want to have a vlog family, and no hate on people who do that, because, like, that's awesome for them. But like, I want to be able to do, like, world build and
One thing I just love your brain. I love how it works. You are so creative. You always really have been a storyteller, and almost, like, I remember just kind of being, like, so aloof because your ideas were constantly going off, and you constantly had your phone, like, writing out, like, story ideas. And Tristan and I, like, did this week-long cruise around the Caribbean for, like, a Snapchat deal, and I was, like, his +1. And I remember we were just, it was one night we were, like, laying on the bed, and you were like, oh my God, I just had the best children's book idea. And you stopped talking to me for, like, 20 minutes, and you were just, like, in your phone, like, writing out this idea. Like, you have always just, your brain is so creative.
I wrote it.
Really?
I wrote, like, it's more of more of like a poem, like it's a short story.
Yeah.
But I actually wrote that idea.
Cute.
Remember it was like the floating castle.
Princess on an Island.
Yeah. Princess in the Floating Castle.
Wow, I'm so proud.
Yeah, so I'll let you read it after this.
Okay, amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I have loved your ability to just kind of take an opportunity like these platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above, and use them as vehicles to kind of groom your skill and just do what you really want. Like, utilize these platforms, and it's like a vehicle to get you where you really want to go. So, like, right now, you're essentially kind of what I see, what I'm hearing is you're writing movies, and you're producing things, and you're directing things, and you're just, like, level upping, and it's so cool to see.
Thank you. That means a lot, especially because you've been there since, actually, like, you're like day one, like pretty much day one, year one of this journey. So it's so nice to hear that, and especially coming from you. So I appreciate that.
So is it like you're I mean, do you ever say like professional storyteller? Like, is that ever like come like
No,
starting
but I
out?
like it.
I like that.
Yeah, dang, LinkedIn, I'm switching it up.
I mean, it's just I've never heard that, but that's like what I'm hearing. I'm like, okay, he's like a professional storyteller. Like, we're starting out, maybe not instant.
I'm like an aspiring storyteller. I still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
there,
but I mean, like, if you, well, what I've always been told is, and this may not really be true, is that the minute you start really making a living off of what you're doing, is you're a professional at it. And so, granted, people do that and they don't make a lot of money, but I mean, I feel like if that's what you're doing, you're pretty much a pro at it now. So maybe switch it up.
Okay,
you know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think like to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying is like using social media as a platform for what you love. That's when social media is impactful. Is when you're like, my goal is even for like a lot of actors ask, like, should I be on social media? Like, there's a negative connotation or stigma behind it. But it's like, why wouldn't you practice your monologues? Like, take a monologue and put it on TikTok and like really express yourself through these platforms where there is an audience to be able to like to test whether this type of role is right for you, or like practice those skill sets, or as if you're an aspiring director, like, and you have some downtime in between things, or you're a student and you're trying to work on your craft, like, why not use social media as an opportunity to experiment? Because you don't need a budget anymore. Actors don't need a film crew to act. They can do it in the palm of their hand. Directors don't need expensive cameras. Cinematographers don't need that either. Like, you don't need these things to experiment and to practice, to storytell, or whatever it is you're trying to do. Even if you want your own reality show, like,
you can make one.
You can make one. Like, if you're an artist, showcase your art. There is so much that you can do with the platform if you're doing it for the right reasons, and like you remember that, because it's so easy to lose yourself in the likes and the chasing the followers.
I want to get into that.
That's perfect segue.
Yes, perfect segue. Thank you. Did you ever, how has your journey been mentally? How's your mental health been through this roller coaster of your career? Because I've kind of seen it go through so many places, and like being around all these people, it's so much, and like the likes, and how has this journey been, and like just staying afloat and coming back to Tristan, to who you are as a core?
Yeah, that's been the biggest journey, because like I never really ever saw myself as somebody who was a talent or like in front of the camera. So like I always kind of pictured my life as like my work or what I do isn't necessarily so attached to who I am. It's more like the product of what I make, not me.
It is a character, yeah.
And so I think because of that, like, you know, the likes go down, or like these like lose followers or whatever it is, like for anybody who's creating on the internet, it's like it is attached to your own identity. So like there is that sting or that burn when things don't go so well or videos don't do well, but
because it's also your work.
It's your work, but it's your mind, it's your performance, it's like whatever it is. So it's like you can't help but be impacted by it. That said, like creators have like to be a creator on social media, like for professionally, you have to have a level of resiliency. Like you have to be able to like have those moments where like, okay, things are not going according to plan. Like, you know, the algorithm has just switched it up on me, and now I have to change and adapt, or people's tastes and the trends are different now. Do I have to change and adapt? And it's like, you got to be able to pick yourself back up and be like, all right, what's next? What's next? But I mean, that's not to say like those downs are low. Like I remember, actually, let me talk about the downs by, let me see how the best way to put this. When I hit my lowest point when I lost sight of what I was doing this for. And I remember it happened when I was doing the vlogs frequently. When I got onto social media.
Were y'all together at this point?
No, this was, I think you were probably there when it was starting to go.
You know, I wrote this down. You know the analogy you gave me when we broke up? Do you remember it?
No.
The whirlpool?
No.
You were like, I feel like I'm in a whirlpool, like kind of like in this whirlwind, and you are like on a dock and you're putting your hand out in the whirlpool and you're trying to like pull me back up and like save me. But he was like, I don't want to bring you into this. And he was like, and you said, I know I have to like let you go because I got to ride this out.
Yeah.
That was the analogy.
And it like, wow. It gave me goosebumps. And I said it. But like, thank you for bringing that back up, because that's the perfect way to describe what was going on during that time. Is like, social media is such a numbers game. It used to be like, wow, that's like when you're making something cool or unique, it was like, it stood out. And then it became very saturated. And then it was like, oh my God, the algorithms, it was like you had to keep on shoveling coal into the train to keep it going. You couldn't stop. And if you stopped, the train would stop. And that means brand deals would stop. And that means your finances would stop. And then that means you can't storytell anymore. And all these things start coming to your mind when they're not true. They're all fit. They don't, 1 + 1 didn't equal 2 there. You know, like that wasn't the reality, but that's what goes on in your head when your work is so closely tied to your ego. And by ego, I don't mean it by the connotation everyone thinks of ego. I mean like by your sense of self.
Yeah, your
identity. And that's what was going on when I was in that whirlpool. And Lacey, I was in that whirlpool for like I want to say like a year, like at least maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Was this when you were part of Team 10 or?
Yeah, I was part of Team 10 for some of it, and then it
just kept going.
It kept on going.
Did it get better whenever you left, or like?
I would say it didn't have any, like, being in Team 10 didn't have much to do with the whirlpool. It was just like, it was me losing track of my why.
Okay.
So like, I started social media, like I decided to pursue it full time because I had a why behind it, and that why was so strong.
Yeah.
And that why was, I want to be a storyteller. I want to challenge myself as a storyteller. I want to innovate, and I want to create, and I want to ultimately, make, write children's books, and I wanted to show run TV shows and create world build, right? And then I started to, I was introduced to the social media world and what does better, and you stop.
Shit's flying at you.
Shit's flying at you. You're in this whirlpool, right? And you start kind of like doing whatever apparently works on social media.
You start to mirror what you see is working.
Yeah, and then you get stuck in it, and that's what happens. Is you're in this. You were at first, you're kind of riding the wave. You're surfing it, right? You're surfing along the edges of a whirlpool, and you're having a great time because you're creating, and this is all super fun. But then at like some point, like you lose your surfboard, which is your reason why, and then you're like, wow, things are moving real fast. Lacey, when we were dating, I think I was gaining like 100,000 followers a week.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like it was happening so fast, and I didn't have time to reflect because I had to keep on moving.
Yeah.
And that's what social media did for me, is it put me in a position where I was fighting an uphill battle against these algorithms that required quantity over quality. And I think some people are really good at it. Like they're really, and that's like what they want to do. But for me, it never felt natural to be like, what's up guys? I'm on YouTube, whatever. Like, like that wasn't who I was. Who I was the person you described, Lacey, which is like thinking in my head, coming up with ideas, and then like kind of daydreaming until I made those daydreams a reality through my camera. And that didn't translate well to like the way that the industry works. Where like you just have to keep putting out content. It was like I needed time to like think about my content and make it, and then like develop it and then make it, right? Didn't allow that. And so I was in this whirlpool, and I'm putting out vlogs all the time, and then I'm editing those vlogs, and I'm figuring out what I'm going to do, how am I going to one-up them. And I just got myself into this, like, it was I dug myself into a hole that was really hard to climb out of, because I wasn't doing what I loved anymore, and I couldn't remember what it was. I had lost myself so completely that like I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I didn't recognize. I remember I was downstairs. Actually, this is what happened. I was in the middle of a vlog, and I think it was during Vlogmas, which is when you daily vlog or something for. And as I'm saying this, I want everyone to know that like I have a huge respect for people who like do this and this is their job, and like they love it because it's a type of personality and a type of like ambition that is great easy for this type of job. It was hard for me because I would say like less naturally extroverted. It was like, and also just didn't allow it to align with my goals. But anyways, that said, disclaimer, as I was vlogging, and I was like, I felt this pressure to put on a show, not necessarily, I mean, 50% of it was about, I was about to pick up my camera and talk to, hundreds of thousands of people after I posted this video, but also because I had a bunch of friends that were over to collab, and they're also going to be in this video. And I felt like I had to put on a show for the camera, but also put on the show for these people that were coming over to collab. And I was just I was so tired and drained and unhappy and didn't know why I was doing it. I couldn't remember. And I was about to pick up the camera, and I just like needed a moment. And so I was like, I'll be right back. And I went upstairs and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I literally didn't even recognize myself. Like, I was like, where the hell have I been for like the past year?
Wow.
Like, I don't think I've taken a day to just like not think about content, not think about how to like survive the algorithm or whatever. And I like looked at myself in the mirror, and I started like, swell up or whatever not cry.
I don't cry.
I don't cry. Yeah. I know, I cried. I don't care. Whatever. I cried a little, then I wiped away the tears, and I picked up the camera and I put on a big smile, and I finished the vlog. And I remember that was like the last vlog that I had done for a long time. Because after that, I was like, I need to figure out why I'm doing this.
Wow.
And
was that your turning point?
That was like 2 years ago. I mean, there's so many YouTubers who are in their 30s and even 40s, and like they're killing it, and it's like what they love. And I love YouTube, and I think like the community on YouTube is great. I think I personally struggled with trying to figure out what moments were for me and what moments were for sharing with other people.
Yeah.
And I also struggled with like a loss of my reason why. And I think that can happen to a lot of people who kind of get into social media and then like grow rapidly, is like they kind of forget where they were beforehand or like what they wanted to do.
Yeah. It really is for such a specific personality, and like props to the people that every career is for a specific personality. Like I feel like with photography, like you strive when you're really extroverted and great with people, and like you might be an amazing artist, but if you're an introvert, and like it's going to be harder for you to be not necessarily as successful, but almost, just because like photography is such a people job. And it's just,
and making people feel comfortable.
Yeah, you have to make people feel comfortable, because then like no one's gonna want to work with you. You like get the word out that you're like weird to work with. But so
was that moment in the mirror like one of your turning points to come back to Tristan?
Yeah, it was like the rock bottom of but which is crazy, and it sounds so silly to think about, because it was like I was so grateful, at the same time I felt almost ashamed to feel that way.
For a lot of people to connect or empathize with your situation, because it's such a rare career path. Or it's not rare, but like not many people can understand what it's like, because not many people do it. Majority of society doesn't.
No.
And it's hard to like really connect with people because nobody really fully understands.
Yeah, and like even now I'm like, oh, well, how ridiculous that I was like so flustered by it. But it was more that loss of self that stung. It wasn't like, like having to put on a show or whatever. Because I learned after that, like, why would I feel the need to do that? In fact, like, you should be more authentic. You should be vulnerable in front of people. Like, you don't need to feel like you have to be a character for everyone. And like that was a huge moment for me as well, that I learned at that, where it was like, why do I feel that way? And the reason was like, you shouldn't feel that need to put on an outward face to everybody. Like, you're having a bad day, like at least you're great at it. Like like people know how you feel.
I think vulnerability is definitely like one of my superpowers.
Yeah.
And I love that you kind of like almost like peeled a layer off your onion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I still like having layers on my onions. Like, I feel like I like
what a thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not like that's probably one of the reasons why I'm like not a lifestyle creator on social media.
Is it a protective like mechanism for you? Like, are you kind of like subconsciously protecting yourself when you put these like characters or masks on?
No, I just like.
I mean, but also you're an entertainer, so.
But I entertain through like my. Like my visuals, my ideas, right? I don't need to entertain like through my personal struggles, but also like those are for. I think you have a choice. You can share if you would like, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. And I don't think there should be a pressure to have to share what you're going through. And there is like everyone gets like commended for sharing now, and it's like, and I think that's great. I just like. I think people experience things differently, and I like to I don't like the word internalize is not the way to do it, but I like to like think about it and reflect on it, and then usually if I'm able to do that and like figure out what the source is or what's causing it, I actually can move on, and I'm not holding on to coal. It doesn't keep bothering me. I don't have to like
share it to the world.
Share and feel like I'm like tell the world I'm going through something. I feel like if you're going through something, like you can go through it alone if you want, or you can bring other people into it if that makes you feel better. But I know if I brought in a ton of people being like, hey guys, like I think I'm depressed, I don't know if I would have been able to have like come out of it the way I did, where I was like, okay, I'm methodical, right? So I like was like, what's causing these things? I was like outlining this any thought that I'd have that might make me feel this way, or that was my process. It was I didn't feel like I wanted to reach out. I felt like I wanted to kind of get off social media for a little while.
That's coming back to you. Like you went inward, and I love that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're doing these things, if you're putting yourself out there every single day, it's just crazy how the actual stuff like that, depression or something like that, that's what you internalize, which I mean, that makes so much sense too. And that's like so common with influencers, creators and stuff, like like Erica was saying about TikTokers, like you don't really know these people, but you watch them all day and you don't even know their voice.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's interesting.
How has this affected your friendships, relationships? Like, do you find, like, tell me about your like relationships in your life.
Oh yeah. Like when
gosh.
I didn't realize we were going to have therapy today.
Sorry. This is my style.
No, I get it. No, I don't really, I mean, ups and downs, but just like every career, when you when you change or you go through like huge moments of growth, some people still, it's kind of like what we said about relationships. It's like, even with friendships, like some people still want to see the old you, and they don't want to see you change.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when you hit rock bottom, like people don't want to be around for it. And like, that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't have, I had a really good friend who, like when I was going through, like when I was like really depressed, but I didn't want people to know, I was not a good friend, because I was just like, I couldn't even fake a smile during that time. You know what I mean? And I wasn't a good friend, and I don't expect my friends to, even though like at the time I was like, gosh, now my friends, like, I'm having like one of my best friends abandoned me when like during the time I needed that like friendship the most.
Yeah.
I actually like look back at that, I'm like, I sucked.
Yeah.
Like, but I needed to go through that so that I can come out the other side and be a different person. So I could like cross that threshold into the like human that I am now, who I actually like, I like love myself now.
Yeah.
Like I really like my ideas are my own, like the stuff that I put, like I'm so much more authentically me because I like went through something that like made me realize like why, or I don't know, moments of change make you
moments of growth, uncomfortability,
when you're uncomfortable, like when shit gets hard, that's when you either stay down or you grow. That's life being like shaking you up to be like, hey, something's got to change, like now's your time to like make some changes and grow. Like life's like, all right, pick your ass up, like we got to change something here, I'm not happy, like let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think whenever you have life changes, like some people kind of grow with you and some grow in a different direction, and that's okay. And like you can still be close to them, or like friendly with them, but like you might not, they're not like you're not hanging out with them every day pretty much.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I think like that is what kind of happened with like my whole, I mean, with any career really, when you grow up, like
you just transform.
You transform, and friendships and relationships change.
How many like core people are in your life? Like what do you like, do you have like a core like 4 or 5 best friends?
I have like a really solid friend group, like ride or dies, like a good group, like it's a solid squad of people that like we would we have each other's back no matter what.
Have they like? Is it like people you've grown up with, or like people that you've like met like throughout this whole
well, I have like
journey?
I have like some of my friends since I was like a baby that are still around, and then I have like my my mix of friends now are like there's some people who are influencers, some people who aren't even in the entertainment industry, but like we all get along. Like we're like we're all like brothers and sisters. We get along so well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let's see what I got. Oh, this is what I've been wanting to ask you. Okay.
Ooh, that sounded also wow. That sounded like really depressing. But social media is great when you can remember why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I love it now. Like when I'm having fun with it.
So do you like it more now than you have before, or like?
Yeah, because now I use it for the reason like to go back to my roots, which is like if I'm not like challenging myself as a storyteller. That's the question I ask myself before I make anything. I'm like, does this challenge me as a storyteller or not? Am I like becoming closer to my end goal by working on this project? If the answer is yes, I do it. And if it's no, then I'm like, I was probably tempted to do that just because I wanted it to get views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about this recently. Just knowing what your top values are in life, identifying them is important because when you have them clear, it's almost like you put on your top value goggles, and that's how you start to see life, and that kind of guides you through life, and it makes decisions easier. Like, is this aligned with one of my top values? Does this bring me closer to my top value, or is it whatever? And it just makes life a little bit easier when you have like a clear just reminder of like your top value. Like that was so repetitive.
What are your top values, Lacey?
God, this sounds so hippy dippy, but honestly, it's to be and give, freedom, happiness, and love. What up? I'm like,
no, that's awesome.
Simple, but it's just like I want to be love and radiate love and kind of draw in people into my life that are either on the same frequency, because I love human connection so much. Like I just love connecting with people in a deeper way. And I don't want to say like I want to help people just because like people, they might not need help. Like I feel like when you say like I want to help somebody, it puts you in a place of like you're above them and they're below you. I don't like that. I just want to love people and be there for people and create a space for people to step into their own power and become their own lights and just like be who the fuck they want to be. You know, like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because that's what I love doing. Like that fulfills me so much. Like just fucking be love.
I see that too with the content you make. Like you put out like almost an altruistic voice and inspiration to people who might need it. Like today, love yourself, be positive. I see your captions. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, like I needed to hear that today. Thank
you. Do you think that she's changed quite a bit since y'all dated?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Night and day.
Oh, what was it like dating that version of me?
Which one? The short black hair.
The live, laugh, love Lacey.
Then there was like the kind of the beginning of hippie Lacey with like the long blonder hair.
Wait, what was it?
I saw a few Lacey's during that period. But
yeah, you saw some change.
No, I saw some change. I think we were both going through a lot of different changes, but you always kept the core of who you are, which is like you were always you always thought of others before yourself. And I think like that like still to this day defines you.
Yeah.
And like kind of your art and everything you're doing.
Yeah. So. I feel like I definitely have like a nurturing characteristic or vibe about me.
What's your Enneagram thing?
Enneagram? I'm a 2. I'm a helper. So I definitely I get joy through helping people. Like I love that shit. Like I get so much joy with like helping somebody else or taking care of somebody. Like I'm such a mom.
I'm almost surprised you didn't become a nurse or something.
Well,
like, that's what they do.
There's still time.
What's yours? What's your personality thing?
3-wing force on.
I'm a 3.
Okay. Threes are the achievers. I'm a wing 3.
Hey, that's what's up.
Okay, so I have another question.
Yeah.
Question.
Question.
Oh wait, we have to ask Stephanie what defines her.
What defines
or not
me?
defines you, but what what's your, like Lacey just gave her thing.
Like my values?
Value,
I don't know. I mean, that's so, I don't know how to answer that.
You know, I mean, this took me hours of journaling, so like it's fine.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really know. I don't like what. There's so many.
I've known you for 6 years, and what I can see is you've always been a very rock of stability for the people in your life.
Okay.
And almost like a guide for them.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You are a teacher.
You're a teacher, maybe.
Okay, I like these. I'll go with these. Yeah. Damn, I'm going to go off of that. Okay. So I'll just say that.
But journal about it.
I'll give you a more in-depth answer later.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I mean, Stephanie's definitely a person that has always, from my time knowing you, has been so sure of yourself.
That's what, I don't know how to, I'm just like.
Well, I mean, it's cool because I like being around that energy. It's like been so inspiring for me, like at a time in my life where I didn't really know who I was, what I wanted, who I wanted to be. Like, you've always been so sure of yourself. Like, and it's awesome to be around.
Wow. Thanks, guys, because I didn't know how to answer that question. I was kind of nervous over here. So thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, Tristan.
Okay, anyway.
So, from my perspective, it seems like you have almost gotten, quote, everything that you wanted, quote. Like, you dove into social media, hit 1 million followers, financially independent, and like whatever, the house, car, like you've gotten all these like materialistic things. What has that felt like in reality versus what you thought it would feel like?
I still don't have a dog, so
love
that
your
was
response.
that was on my checklist for success. You know what's crazy is it doesn't really feel like anything. What feels to me like the most impactful for me, like actually I can answer this so confidently. The thing I'm most grateful for about what I have achieved is the friendships that I have in my life and like how much closer I've gotten with my family. Like, all that other stuff comes and goes, you know? Like, I've been really successful on social media and I've been really not successful on social media in this like short career, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's ups and downs. Like, you might not make money for more like 5 months, or then you might get something, whatever. But like the one thing that I have learned through the whole thing is none of that matters. Like, my friendships that I have right now are the strongest friendships I've ever had in my entire life. And I've never been as close to my family as I am now because, like I said, when I went through that and I really reevaluated what my actual, like what actually brings me joy, it really isn't. Like,
It's not shit. It's
I
not
love my
materials.
car. I do love my car. But like, it isn't that. I mean, that's a great like consequence of success, but it isn't success. Like, you can define success however you want, but for me,
it's your relationships.
It's my relationships, and like those things to me like bring me so much more joy than like anything. This is actually going to sound pretty cheesy too, but even like the relationships that I've built with like some of the people that I've like been supporting my career, like followers and fans, like that are still around, like those mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like that, and like my family and my friends, and I'm just talking in circles, but that's how much I can confidently answer that question is like that defines like my success, and everything else is kind of like sweet, like dope. Like I'm like super grateful,
like convenient. Like I live a convenient life now.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer.
You killed that answer. Loved it,
especially with the dog part.
Okay, so what does happiness look like to you?
Wow, I feel like I kind of answered that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But yeah, like,
what about future happiness?
God, I don't know. I'm like so happy, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I am really happy with like the way my life is, and it's because I was able to remove it from like exterior validation, and I like found my happiness by how I see myself, not by necessarily like how the world might view me.
Yeah.
And also because I've changed the definition of what career success looks like for me, which started with it's sort of where it started again, which is like challenging myself, and it's kind of back to that now. It's like I'm back to working on. So it's like if I put out something, whether it gets views or not, if I like challenge myself as a storyteller and like I'm like proud of the progress I'm making, that, I'm like, that was like a check mark for success.
Yeah.
I've had videos that have gone millions of views and have not felt a thing. And I've had videos that have gotten like tens of thousands of views, and I felt so proud.
Oh, that's how I feel about my work.
Yeah.
Like, I'll post a photo I think is so awesome. It'll get like nothing. And I'm like, whatever, I love this picture. And then I'll post like a half naked girl, and it's like thousands of likes. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like but it's like the work that you're like super, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet.
What do you want in life?
Wow. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. I haven't been on a job interview ever, so I'll bust out the resume. A dog. Yeah, I'd love a dog. I really want a dog. I've been spending so much time taking those like which dog breed is right for me quizzes.
What do you get? Do you get a golden retriever?
No, it's because I don't have a big enough yard, so I can't get like, I don't get the ones that I want. I get like the little ones.
Oh no.
And I like little dogs, but like I want a big dog.
I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. It's massive.
Oh, okay, yeah. I want like a big old dog that I can wrestle with. And, like,
yes. Okay.
take on hikes and like, I don't know, whatever people do with their dog.
Do some boy shit.
I just want a dog. Dang it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot what the question was.
Yeah, I honestly did too.
What do you want in life? Like, where do you want to go? What do you want? Like, what's up?
I want to continue like storytelling. So if social media was to go away tomorrow, I would, and like, let's say all forms of entertainment, TV and film, I'd just like start writing shit on napkins, you know, like I just want to be able to learn how to tell better stories and then how to convey those stories visually, and hopefully impact people through that. I mean, I don't, it's not like I don't want to do it for myself. I'm not doing it for myself to be like, cool, I made a movie and that was all for me. It's like, I want to do it so that like the theme or like the characters in it people can relate to and learn something from. And I'm a strong believer that everybody has a story to tell, and I like to like see what those stories might be in.
So do you have a book or anything? Like, do you have a book out? Like, do you want that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on some. I actually have like a few different ones that I'm like outlining right now. And,
okay.
And then I'm working on a screenplay for a movie.
Okay.
I have a couple TV shows in development right now.
Okay. Wow, that was a
executive produced a show.
Damn. Okay.
But, yeah, so I'm working towards those goals, but it's never ending. Like that kind of career, you know. It's not like you let's say I were to make a movie. It's like, well, then I really want to make another one.
Yeah,
I did it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not like I want like my movie. It's like I want to storytell, and like as long as I'm continuing to do that and getting better at it, I feel like I can find success whether the end product is a success. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you still waking up like super early and like having those like long days of like how it was like during your whirlpool area?
They're different, but they're still long, but it's more impactful.
Okay.
More intentional, maybe.
Intentional. That's the word. Yeah. So yeah, the days are still like long and full of activity, but now I know why I'm doing it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You live in San Diego now, so why did you leave LA?
Oh, because you came back. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. COVID, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like the epicenter of activity. And
is San Diego not at all?
Well, at least in San Diego, I feel like you can get around more like easier, and LA, I feel like people are a little, not everyone, but people are. There's just more people, so there's more irresponsible people. And if I wanted to like be up here and then go home and like visit my family, I would run the risk of exposing them, and I just don't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to choose one or the other. I didn't want to choose that risk. I wanted to just be like, okay, I'll just be with my family, and then when I come up here, it'll be to see Lacey and Stephanie. Get some hand sanitizer going and
have a therapy session.
Having a therapy session.
Have a quick therapy. Get exposed. The usual social media stuff.
Yeah. How's your heart feel? I feel like we're about to wrap this up, but I feel like that's a good ending question. Where's your heart at?
We got our famous 3 questions, though.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty darn full. Yeah, pretty darn full.
That makes me so happy. I'm so glad we did this interview.
Yeah. Thanks for
Me
doing
too.
it.
Thank you.
You were like, what are we going to talk about? I was like, I got some shit. Like, I know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was fun.
So to end this episode, we have 3 infamous questions that we're going to ask you.
Okay.
So the first one is, what is your favorite way to eat or cook a potato?
Oh. I don't even remember the last time I had a potato. I used to love au gratin, like, potatoes au gratin.
This
No.
is a good question because what the
what?
fuck is that?
It's like sliced thinly, and then it's like with cheese and stuff. But I don't eat dairy anymore, so I haven't had that in so long. So maybe curly fries. They're dang.
Okay.
Yeah, I love curly fries.
You are such a curly fry type of person.
Yeah, I love those curly fries.
I mean, those are great.
Yeah.
What are you guys? What are the responses besides curly fries?
A loaded baked potato.
Oh,
Fuck.
classy.
Erica said like some sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato casserole.
But then she was like, but also French fries.
I mean, there's chips.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a ton.
potato
Sweet potato
skins.
fries are so bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
with,
so many ways to cook a potato.
Aioli, the
Yeah.
Chipotle aioli. Oh man, that deserved a camera look.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, they can't take the vlogger out of me.
He's like, he looked straight
Thanks
at
so
the
much,
camera
Russ.
just that moment. Oh my god. I guess I would choose like waffle fries.
Oh, I love waffle fries too.
Where are we going to eat after this? A pizza
Yeah,
place?
we're going to get fries.
Yeah, I
that's
was
for sure.
about to say. Oh my god.
All right, what's your question?
Okay. If you could be the best at any Olympic sport, hot or cold, whatever, what would it be? I mean, like the best, no physical ailments, nothing. Like you're.
Gymnastics.
Wow.
Wow,
That-
how freaking fun would that be?
Why is
like-
that everybody's like?
Does everyone say that?
No,
I
I
would
mean
be
2 for
gymnastics.
2 or 3 out of 3 now.
Okay, first of all, I don't know if you've ever seen Cirque Du Soleil.
Yes.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I used to watch Cirque Du Soleil and then like try to do flips off of my bed and like injure myself every time.
Parkour.
But like parkour. But like, holy smokes, it would be so cool to be able to just like bust a triple backflip, double tuck spin type of thing, whatever you want to.
Someone's like a superhero
Yeah,
almost.
like parkour.
Dude, I could totally see you just like rolling up on some people and being like, watch this.
It would be a part of the story. Yeah. Mine's synchronized swimming.
Oh, that's pretty fanciful.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. That's what? Like,
Yeah.
how do they do that?
That's
pretty.
But let's say, for example, you were to like show that off at a pool or whatever, it wouldn't be synchronized anymore because you'd be the only person doing it. So like, look how ridiculous you would look with your just like legs sticking out of the pool by yourself and then popping back up with your hands like into a triangle.
What a show that would be.
I would be like, oh right, this is awesome.
Okay, third question. You want to ask?
Okay. Would you rather trip in the desert or smoke weed on the beach?
Ooh, I have to choose between those two?
Yes.
I guess it depends on the day.
But today.
Like, Thursdays are for tripping, and man, both of those sound great. Honestly, I think smoke weed on the beach seems a little more like feasible for my lifestyle.
Achievable, yeah.
But if you had like a free week
Yeah.
and it was just like perfect timing for either one of those.
Okay, so I think like with like tripping, you're like talking about shrooms or something, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the circumstances and conditions would have to be really right for me. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I think because I am like really anxious in general,
So smoke on the beach.
I think smoking on the beach
There it
would be
is.
like,
Okay.
yeah, I just over-explained that.
Yeah, I'm like,
Overthought
okay,
it.
so
You're
we're gonna
like,
go
she's like, we get
smoking.
it. I like go into like a monologue about like my anxiety problems. I start crying.
Back into therapy we go.
The sequel, they're like, we're gonna have to break this up into 2 episodes, guys, because Tristan has a lot to work through. Anyways, to answer your question, smoke weed on the beach.
Okay. Okay. Damn.
This was such a fun episode.
We needed this.
But it was like real.
Yeah, it was
That's
just a
what we did.
combo. I feel like dinner's gonna be just like this.
Yeah. I mean, it really touched my heart.
Thanks.
I don't know. I just feel good. I love conversation. This is why I love doing the podcast, because it's so cool to just get to know somebody. Like, it's just fun. Like, I love conversations like this so much.
Same.
Yeah, just dedicated time to getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Crack the code.
But yeah.
I don't know if you're doing an outro, so I was like, I'll let them speak.
Okay. Well, I was trying. We're new to this. Okay. So tell everybody, hello everybody, where they can find you. Social media. Duh. Like,
not your address.
I'm like, my address is on a Tuesday. I might be at the beach smoking weed apparently. Okay, you can find me at Tristan Tales, TristanTales on pretty much every social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, I suck at outros. Apparently. Okay,
that's pretty
passing the baton over to Lacey and Stephanie to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for having me.
do this. Oh my god. Okay.
All right. Thank y'all so much for watching. And on that note, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
That's your outro? You don't have like a saying, like a
We just asked our questions.
peace, love, and unity, and like peace. I don't know.
Live, laugh, love, y'all.
Live,
No, sorry, that's old Lacey. I forgot.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the beginning we say, "Oh, here we go," whatever. Okay, just like cue the funk music.
Okay, bye.